Hey guys, this is Gloria. Welcome back to another Maker Monday video. This particular video is going to um, concentrate more on shaker cards. So I created a shaker card with some dies that I had, and I know that everyone doesn't have a lot of different dies and different things like that. So I wanted to try to recreate that shaker card using my Cricut Maker. It's almost the same as using your silhouette design space. The steps are almost identical. You just have to use that program instead of Cricut Design Space. So today we're going to focus on Cricut Design Space, which is what I have open right here. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to bring in a shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a square. And let's make this square a rectangle. So what you're going to do is you're going to go right up here where it says size, and you're going to uncheck the lock. What that does is it unchecks the proportion size. If you leave this checked, the system is really smart, and it will adjust your width and your height depending on what you put if you put the width in as one number. Say for instance this is a square. If I uncheck this and I put in 3, enter, it's going to automatically change the height to 3 because a square is the same size, height, and width. Okay. So we want to uncheck that because we want to actually make a rectangle, which is not the same size in width and height. So for this one, my width is going to be, let's see, it's going to be 8.5. And then my height is going to be 4. And the reason why I'm doing that is because this is about the size of a card that would fit in a business envelope. So say for instance, if you wanted to make a card this size and you didn't want to, um, have to make envelopes or anything, you can actually go to Dollar Tree, purchase some envelopes to use for your, just some white business card envelopes to use for your cards. You can also decorate the envelopes however you like, but you already have a bunch of envelopes that you can use for these cards. So this is the base layer. And all I'm going to do is just change the color of the base layer. And the only reason for that is that when you go to print out, or I'm sorry, cut out your shapes, they won't all cut in the same on the same paper, unless that's what you want to do. You can keep them all the same if that's what you want to do. So this is now our base layer for our card. So the next step would be to make another rectangle. So what I can do is I can take this and I can just go over here and duplicate this particular rectangle. So this is pretty much the same size. But this time I'm going to unlock and I'm going to take this down by 1/4 of an inch. So 8.25 on the height and 3.75. I'm sorry, on the height is 3.75 and on the width is 8.25. And the reason for that is to make a layer within, for our card. If you don't want to make a layer, then that's fine. But I prefer layers. So we're going to go ahead and make a layer. So this is the one that we're going to be working with. I'm going to go ahead and change the color of that one as well. And this is the one that I'm going to be working with. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to text and I'm going to type my text. I'm just going to type out Mary. And so once I type out my text, you can change this text to anything that you want. You can go right up to font right here. And you can click that and it's going to show you all the fonts that are in access. It's going to show you your fonts that's on your system. And right now it's click to all. I can change this to system and I'll just see just the fonts that I already have. And these are fonts that's actually downloaded and installed on your computer, as well as maybe some that you've purchased or something like that. So for the Mary, I'm going to go with let's see. I want to go with something bold. So I'm just going to click on that one. I mean, like I say, you can click on all kind of different fonts, whatever you really like. But to kind of keep with um, the card that I made with my dies, I'm just going to click right here and keep it with this font right here. Now, the great thing about this is you could curve this if you want. Check this out. If you wanted to curve it, you can make a curved shaker if you want to, um, and put it on there. You can make it as big as you want. And mind you, the black part of this is going to be where your shaker material is going to go. So, like I say, you can make it um, like that, and then you don't have to worry about trying to line up your dies to make your curve, because if you use your dies, I mean you can definitely do this, but you would have to have a ruler and a pencil and make sure that your dies are positioned properly. In this case, the machine is going to do it all for us, so we don't have to do any of that. So I can take away that curve just so that I can show you how to make the card similar to what I did. Okay, take away the curve. Okay, so now we're back to just a regular font. I'm just going to go back up. I'm going to go to system. I'm going to change that back to that one. And then I'm just going to use this square right here, which is our layered piece, which is where this is going to cut out. I'm going to just make that the size that I want to make it. And I'm just using the green piece as reference. So once I get it to about the size that I want, then I am going to put it on my card. And what I need to do is I need to select this base, the green base, and I need to select the Mary word. And what I did was on my keyboard, I clicked the green base part that I need, and then I held down shift and I clicked the word Mary. And as you can see right over here now, this and this are both highlighted together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to align, and I'm going to say align this in the center. And then this way, now it's, Mary is in the center of um, this rectangle piece. Which makes it so much easier to line up and all that good stuff. You could align it however you want to align it. If you wanted to align it to the left, you can align it to the left. If you wanted to, go to the right, however you want to align it, you can align it to the top. You could, eyeball it. I'm just going to do center on this one. Well, actually, I'm not going to do center. I'm going to center vertically, maybe. Let's see, because I do want to give myself a little bit of space down here. So like right now my hand is kind of shaking, so it's kind of moving the Mary around. I want to give myself space because on my original card I did put a cursive word right here. So I want to make sure that I have enough space for that, and also enough space for my foam tape to go around this word. Now, speaking of foam tape, what you can do is you can duplicate this once we get it all set up a couple times, and you can make different layers of this same top portion where you could just stack all of those on top of each other where you don't have to use foam. Or you can cut this out of foam as well and have your foam piece already cut out for you. All you have to do is just layer this top piece onto your foam piece, and then you have your shaker part too. Or you can just cut this out the way that I'm going to cut it out and just take some foam tape that you can also get from Dollar Tree right now, and you can actually just put foam tape around that in order to trap your shaker pieces inside of that. So it's going to be completely up to you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Mary, and I'm going to hit shift, and I'm going to align that again, and I'm just going to say align vertically, because I have it where that's not what I want to do. Let's go back, because I kind of have it where I want it. So I need to say align center horizontal. I can't say it. Let's see. Horizontally. Okay. So because I want that space right there, but I want a bigger space down here. So I just centered that the way I need it to be centered. And that's all good to go. So now I'm just going to click on my word Mary. And I'm also going to click on my green box or my green rectangle. And what I'm going to say is I'm going to say, weld this bad boy. Nope, I'm not going to weld it. I always get confused with Cricut Design Space because it's a little different. So I'm going to just click there, and then I'm going to click attach. Now it's attached. So now what's going to happen is when I go to cut this, Mary is going to cut out of my green paper. Okay. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. So that piece is good to go. And again, if you want to cut this out of foam, all you're going to do is take that, you're going to duplicate that one. You're going to change the color on it. Okay. And now you can cut this out of your pretty top paper, and you can cut this out of foam and then layer those two together. If you want to just stack multiple paper, because I know that some people don't like to use foam. If they just want to stack multiple pieces of paper together, what they're going to do is they're going to take this Mary and they're just going to duplicate this as many times as they need to in order to stack that up. Don't change the color, because then it'll just cut out on the same sheet of paper. Or you can change the color so that it'll all like cut out on white paper or something like that. That way you can just glue it all together and stack it up and make your little shaker part like that. But in this case, if you want to cut it with foam, you'll just change the color, keep everything the same, and that way you'll have a foam backing piece to layer with your paper, if that makes sense. If not, if you don't need this and you just want to use just some foam tape right around the Mary, you can definitely do that. Just cut out just this green piece with the Mary part cut out. So now if you wanted to, you're pretty much done. You can take this and you could stamp the word Christmas and emboss it with some pretty gold glitter or gold embossing powder. You could take a die cut like I did on my card and just layer that on top of there, and you're good to go. Or you can make your own die cut if you don't have a die to do that. And the way that you would do that is that you would just go over here to text once again and say if I wanted to say Christmas. Ooh, Christmas. So now I have my word, and it depends on what font you use. You could do some research online and find out what's the best fonts to use with your Cricut when you want to use cursive writing. You can use a cursive Cricut font, which will cut out properly. In this case, I'm just going to share how I did, how I would cut. So you take that word Christmas and you go over here to the font menu. I'm going to go back to system, because maybe I just don't want to purchase another font. I'm going to go to Aubrey, which I believe is on almost everybody's, system. As you can see, this word Christmas is all split apart, okay? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to letter spacing. Now, mind you, I'm learning as you guys are learning. So there may be an easier way to do this. There may be other ways to do this. If you know of it, just put it down in the comment section down below and I'll try it out and see if it works. And, we're good to go. And then the next video, I'll share with you guys the tip that you gave me. But in this case, I'm just going to show you what I do. So I go to letter spacing And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this letter spacing down. And what you want to do is you want to get to a negative number, because negative means that it kind of overlaps, which is what you want it to do. So right now I'm at 0. And as you can see, at 0, I'm just going to move this over. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it really big so that we can all see it together. Okay. So right now I'm at 0. And as you can see, right here, right here, right here, and right there, all of these little areas are not connected. So I want to make sure that it's in a negative because I want them to overlap, right? And, another way that you can do this is you can ungroup it, and I can just move it over. And right now I'm just kind of eyeballing. Actually, what you want to do is you want to move it from wherever, what am I trying to say? Like kind of like in the middle. If you're gonna do it by like looking at it, it's best for you to kind of try to overlap starting at the middle, because if not, you're going to be moving these letters back and forth, right? But this is what you want to get. You want to get it where it's not um, any space in between. You want it to overlap as much as possible. So I can sit here and, overlap these by eyeballing it. Or like I was doing up there, you can just keep clicking it until your letters are overlapped the way you want them to be. So I'm just trying to make sure that they are overlapped. Okay, so this part is pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is see this right here with the T. It's really weird because this line that's going through there is like a cut line, but it's not a thick cut line. And so that is going to give us a little bit of a problem, but we'll see how it works. And like I said, if you have a Cricut font that's a pretty cursive Cricut font, then you may want to just go ahead and go with that instead of having to do all of this manipulating of your letters, because it can be, kind of tricky. So this Chris is good and the Tomas is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to group the last letters together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click attach so that they're attached together. And I'm going to click weld. And now that is going to cut as one. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Move that up. I'm going to do the same thing with Chris. And I'm going to attach it. And I'm going to weld it together so that now it is one piece as well. Now I want to make sure that my Chris and my Mas is together. So I'm just going to overlap these two. And then I'm going to bring all of this together and I'm going to attach and I'm going to weld. And now my word is one word. It's just Christmas. As you can see right here, it's just going to cut as Christmas. And we could even go into make it and see how that is going to look. And so that is right now how Christmas looks. Looks pretty good. It's all attached together. So I'm going to just click cancel. And of course it's too big, so I'm going to just shrink it down. Now we want Christmas to cut separate because we want to be able to just put it, on our card wherever. But you're going to use one of these layers just as reference to see how big you want Christmas to be. Okay. And once you have it the way that you want it, then you're just going to go to make it, and it's going to cut out, everything that you need for your card. And then all you're going to do is you're going to take, because this base layer right here is 8.5 by 4. You're going to need, and this you can definitely cut by hand, but just in case you want the machine to cut out everything, you're just going to take another square, and you're going to put the width at, oh, sorry, you're going to unlock this, and you're going to put the width at 8.5, and you're going to take the height, and you're going to do by 8. And what that's going to do is going to make you a card that you can just cut out with your machine and then score at 4, fold it in half, and then these are going to be your layer pieces. And then you're done. I mean, that is all that you have to do to make that little shaker card. Easy peasy. And you can, make a bunch of them. Then that way, I'm going to just send this to the back. Arrange, send it backward, send it to the back. Okay, so, you could definitely, take this card and mass produce them, make a bunch of shaker cards if that's what you wanted to do, and send them out to your family and friends. It's super easy, super simple. Use some pretty paper and you're done. So that is how you will create your card. And mind you, you can make your shaker card a regular A2 size card as well. All you do is just change the measurements of this and make it an A2 size shaker card if that's what you want to do. I was just making them this size so that you can use the Dollar Tree envelopes if that's what you wanted to do. That way you don't have to make envelopes. You can just kind of decorate the Dollar Tree envelopes and send off your Christmas cards. So I hope that was helpful to someone. And as I stated, I am not a professional at this. So if you guys have any tips or anything for us, just leave them in the comment section down below. I'm sure that everybody would love to hear them. And as always, guys, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below and I'll get back with you as soon as I possibly can. Take care, guys. Bye.